Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In today's video, I've got two stories for you and both of them have updates. So let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Sweet Cherry Pies. Am I the a-hole for not telling my boyfriend I won money 15 years ago? My boyfriend, 35 male, and I, 35 female, were discussing finances as we wanted to be on the same page. My boyfriend moved in with me unexpectedly 3 months ago as his landlord decided to move into the property with his family. We were discussing finances and the topic of how I own my place came up. I explained I want some money, not a lot, but enough to be able to put myself through nursing school, purchase my home and have some savings. Back in 2009, I bought my place outright and then rented it out until I moved back into it in late 2018. Obviously, I had some luck on my side as it was right in the middle of the recession, so I got my place for a really low price. He says I deceived him by giving him the impression that I was financially well off and that I led him to believe I was more business savvy than I was. I don't know how I did that because I literally work as a nurse. I make decent money, fully own my home and car, and have decent retirement plans and decent savings. I'm fairly certain that I am financially better off than most people I know. He says that he can't trust me anymore and that he was stupid to have listened to my financial advice. But the thing is, I never gave him any financial advice, except for telling him not to buy a car that was, in my opinion, unreliable and much too expensive. For your information, we have been dating for almost a year and a half. Did I deceive him by not telling him how I got myself financially stable? Am I the a-hole? So OP, quick to the judgment, no, you are not the a-hole. Secondly, big gold digger alert here. He says he feels like you deceived him or you lied to him by giving an impression that you were better off than you actually were or something like that. I agree with you. I mean, with everything that you stated that you have, I don't care how you got there, you do seem to be savvy enough to buy a house, put yourself through school, have savings and a retirement plan. So the fact that he's upset with you because you're not as rich as he thought you were, that gives me a big red flag here that we're in front of a gold digger who thought he found somebody to mooch off of and, just live the life. He moved in with you unexpectedly and you've only been dating for a year and a half? I don't know about this whole thing, OP. It sounds sketchy as F. Honestly, I would be the one that wouldn't be able to trust him. What do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Armawa says, not the a-hole. This feels like jealousy on his part, so he's lashing out. Out of interest, how long have you two been together? Because this kind of information can take a while to disclose. If you were together when you won the money and hid it from him, that might be a different argument. Also, you are financially savvy because you got a windfall and didn't waste it. Well done to you. And OP responds, we've been together almost a year and a half. I didn't even know him when I won my money. Thank you. Astros says, not the a-hole, and I see a lot of red flags here. It sounds like you were very responsible about how you spend your windfall, securing yourself a home, paying for your education, and putting the rest aside in savings. I'm not sure what about that he's questioning. My concern is that he might have thought you were very wealthy and was hoping you would be his sugar mama. Is he only in this for the money? And Long Nefarious 396 says, not the a-hole. I wonder if he's disappointed because he thought you came from a wealthy family, or he's disappointed that you don't secretly have some lucrative side business on top of being a nurse? I don't see any reason why a rational person would be upset about learning of your winnings. Either way, you're obviously very financially responsible if you're still benefiting from the money you won 15 years ago. You've used it incredibly wisely. If your boyfriend was worth anything, he'd realize you're a keeper after hearing that. Additional information from OP's comments. I earn a bit over 200,000 and with overtime I earn more. I also know I could buy a fairly decent place now if I wanted to, and I base that on my colleagues who purchased their homes in the past few years. I was just so taken aback by his response to me sharing things with him that I was genuinely perplexed about what I did to cause such an argument. Of course, I absolutely recognize that my win put me in an extraordinary position. If I hadn't won it, I would have had student loans and other debt hanging over my head. I've never thought of myself as superior or more worthy than anyone else for being financially stable. I literally grew up very poor, and that money changed my life and the lives of my sisters. So I absolutely recognize the privileges and opportunities it gave me and what it continues to give. Now, he said he had $8,000 in savings, and in regards to him moving in, he was definitely given a 30-day notice and he looked for a place. In fact, I helped him with it, but the rental market was just a bit brutal, so we agreed he could move in, and yes, he pays rent. He was never like this before. I guess moving in made it difficult to hide his crazy. And about the car he wants, it's a Tesla. And well, they are notoriously unsafe, unreliable, ugly, and much too expensive. I have to say that my jaw dropped when he hinted at me getting the Tesla for him. OP's Edit 1. I just had another very weird conversation with him and I honestly can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, so he is definitely a gold digger. He asked me how much I had in savings and seemed impressed with how much. He then said maybe he reacted too aggressively, then asked and told me that he still wanted the car I advised him not to get. He hinted at me getting it for him as a birthday present since it's his birthday in early March. I am definitely dumping him. Going to wait till my two sisters and my two brothers-in-law can come over before I break up with him in case he reacts crazy. OP's Edit 2. He's jealous and he's also resentful. He's ranting about how he would have tripled the money if he had won it. OP's Edit 3. He's saying that my money is wasted on me because I don't make it make money. Apparently, I should have been investing my money in high-yielding stocks and some other crap. For your information, I do get financial advice from a financial advisor I trust. But I'm a risk-averse person, so I would never invest it in the manner this idiot is telling me to. Sure, the chance to get a lot of money is there, but so is the chance to lose. OP's Edit 4. He's now on a crazy rant because I suggested we take a break from this argument because I don't want to ruin my few days off. My god, I can't believe how he's behaving. He thinks he's so clever, but I am thoroughly disgusted. Oh, it is absolutely over between us. OP's Edit 5. Okay, so I understand him better now. So my house and the property it's on is what led him to believe that I was much richer than I am. He assumed I was loaded, so me telling him I actually got lucky pissed him off. Then, when he found out how much in savings and assets I had, he perked up and had a change of mind. He's now telling me that with just a quarter of my money, he can show me how to invest in the stock market and make real money. Oh, he is genuinely deluded. Alright, well, OP is not the a-hole. She has decided to end the relationship and dump him, and yeah, this guy is a definite gold digger. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. But before that, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to leave a like, a comment, because that always helps with the engagement, and subscribe to our community if you haven't done so yet. The button is right there, you just need to click it. And now let's move on with that update. So my sisters and brothers-in-law came over and I asked him to leave. He got very angry and argumentative. While he and I argued, my family packed up all his stuff and put it in his car. He couldn't believe I'd break up with him over such a little thing, as if he hadn't spent 3 days yelling and ranting at me. He finally left and is now staying at his parents' house. His parents called me to ask what happened. I explained the situation and they said it was for the best that we broke up. I didn't see him for a few days, but he called and texted a whole bunch, and it was just him flipping between being regretful of his behavior and raging at my audacity and stupidity. Then I got a call from Mike, one of his friends, and he asked me what happened because my ex-boyfriend was telling people he broke up with me for being a cheater. Apparently, he caught me sleeping with some random dude. I roll. I explained the situation to his friend and he laughed, saying he was wondering when he'd bring up his money schemes. So we had a long chat and he told me how my ex had recently lost a lot of money in trading and that's what had him stressed and anxious. It's also what pushed him over the edge. Apparently, he was angry with me for not taking the same risks he takes. He bitched to Mike about me being a risk-averse person. Mike told me to move on and to change my locks because my ex apparently had a history of being nasty when dumped. Now, we did discuss past relationships, but obviously everything my ex told me was a lie. He told me his last ex cheated on him. They were together for 3 years and Mike told me that it was true, but it was missing the part where she had only cheated as a form of payback before she broke up with him because my ex had repeatedly cheated on her. Anyway, Mike was right because a few days after that, my ex broke into my house and took a dump on my kitchen counter. He was arrested while he was in the process of evacuating his bowels. I obviously changed the codes to my security system so he couldn't get in with the old codes, and by the time he had broken the back door, police were already on their way. He tried to tell the police that he was my boyfriend and lived in the house, but what resident breaks the back door of their house and bleeds over the entire hallway and then takes a dump on their kitchen counter? When this idiot broke down the door, he also damaged the glasswork it had. The glass shattered and it sliced up his hands and forearms. They weren't deep cuts, but it was enough to make for a shocking crime scene. He then went into the house and got blood all over the hallway and parts of the kitchen. He used some of my kitchen towels to wrap up his arms, so blood was also in the kitchen area. When he was arrested, the officers did call for an ambulance and he was treated on site while I was speaking to one of the other officers. They recommended a cleaning company that specializes in biohazards. Lucky for me, they could have someone come in the morning for an emergency priority fee, and I was happy to pay. Then I replaced the doors and I paid extra for some really solid and heavy doors. I also had the hallway repainted since the cleaners had to use harsh chemicals to get the blood off and it damaged the paint. I'll also be remodeling my kitchen. It's outdated and I've always planned to fix it up. Honestly, I didn't even go in the house. I saw what I needed to see on the security cameras. I was too devastated. The cleaners did an excellent job. And of course, he spent the night in jail and was bailed out the next day by his parents. They called to apologize and I told them to never contact me again. I am also in the process of getting a protection order. I have never dated crazy before and I'm absolutely gobsmacked at his insanity. The good thing is that I have cameras all around and in the house. I also went ahead and changed all my logins and my Wi-Fi username and password. He hasn't contacted me since his arrest, but if he does, I am absolutely keeping notes and informing the police. Wow, OP, your ex is unhinged. I mean, you dumped him, but he just didn't want to leave it there, right? Like, no pun intended, or maybe just a little bit, but still, crazy. Or maybe he was just following some celebrity case and he heard that could be done. But still, considering everything, I think it's a positive update for you. You got rid of the crazy, you're remodeling your kitchen, and your house is biohazard free. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user MariaMK21. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I don't care about his kids? Hi, I know I sound like an a-hole right from the get-go, but please hear me out. I, 39 female, got married to my 42 male husband 5 years ago. He had 3 kids at the time who are now 10 female, 14 female, and 17 male. I got along with them really well for the first year. They didn't call me mom or anything, which was never enforced. I always let them know that they were allowed to call me by my first name. Their mom has not liked me from the start. She has constantly shown up to my doorstep yelling at me, saying I'm trying to steal her kids. I have tried to sit down and talk to her, explaining that her kids love her and would never replace their mom. She continues to tell them that rubbish. At around the 2.5 year mark, the kids started pulling pranks on me. I assumed it was harmless, like putting baby powder in my hair dryer or greasing up the stairs. Looking back on it, it should have been a sign. The rubbish their mom kept telling them eventually got to them, with her going as far as saying, "She was the mistress, which is why Daddy and I divorced," which is completely not true. The kids would then start disobeying me. It all started with little things like not putting their shoes away or leaving dirty clothes on the floor. Then it down spiraled from there. They would start screaming at me, the eldest going as far as calling me a home-wrecking floozy, which honestly left me in tears. These past 4 years, I've been subjected to bullying within my own home. I have spoken to my husband several times about all these situations. He brushes it off, saying they're still adjusting to change or it's all just jokes. But yesterday was my final straw when the 17 male and 14 female sold my gold earrings that were from my grandma and they split the money. I told my husband that I was getting a divorce because I could no longer do this. He begged and pleaded with me and said, "Don't you care about the kids?" I told him I didn't care about them one single bit. I'm at my parents' house now and he keeps texting and apologizing, saying he'll buy me new ones. I have yet to respond. Am I the a-hole? No, OP, you're not the a-hole in this situation. Your husband is a huge a-hole for not taking care of this issue. The moment it started, he should have nipped it in the bud with his ex, who is the other a-hole, because apparently she just couldn't accept that he wanted not to live with her anymore and wanted to live with you. So she poisoned the kids against you. So no, OP, I absolutely think you are not the a-hole, and I think you should press charges regarding those earrings because they were stolen. And then your ex and his ex-wife need to figure out how they're going to solve this. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Burner Phone Toronto says, "Call the cops and file a report to get your stolen items back, or at least to force accountability. You were wise to leave. Don't look back. Not the a-hole." Three-Wheeler of Doom says, "Not the a-hole. After 5 years, they should have been adjusted. And no, greasing the stairs is not just a joke. I'm sure he's aware of the change in the kid's behavior. He's ignoring it because he doesn't want to have to deal with it. Those earrings had sentimental value. They can't be replaced. But what his kids did was a crime." There is another comment saying you should report the theft to the police, and I totally agree with that. Those kids stole your earrings, sold them, and shared the money. They need to learn that actions have consequences. These kids have made your life hell for 4 years, and your husband has condoned that by not speaking to them. I wouldn't care about them either. And Janet in Spain says, "You don't have a stepkid problem, you have a husband problem. His ex threw you to the wolves and he has done nothing but blow you off and dismiss your feelings and concerns. Just joking is the rallying call of every bully on the planet. Get a divorce. Why should you care about kids who are bullying you beyond reason or for a husband who watches it happen and does nothing? Get the hell out of this totally dysfunctional marriage. Stay at your parents' house. Get a lawyer. Start the paperwork. F his apologies. Too little, too late." And this is what you tell him. If you are stupid enough to go back, he will almost immediately go back to the way it was, ignoring what is going on. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, that OP should file a police report, and she should definitely get a divorce from this thing. So it's time for us to move on to the update to see if OP heard what the community was saying. Hey guys, these past days have been hard for me, especially with all that's happened. I took the advice and went to the police station and filed a report. The police said they'd see what can be done. I'm guessing they did show up to my ex-husband's house because he kept calling me non-stop. He called me all sorts of names, which I took screenshots of and sent to my lawyer. I have indeed contacted a divorce lawyer and will start the process in the next few weeks. Thank you so much, everyone. Alright, OP, good for you. You took the community's advice and the wheels are turning. You filed that police report, so something is gonna happen on that front. Hopefully, you're able to retrieve your original earrings back, and you're collecting more and more evidence for your upcoming divorce. So congratulations on that, and here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you so much for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.